McGuinness, never not full of himself, struts his stuff and his power over his prisoners in this 1935 article. Friday, August 9, 1935. The New York Times. McGuinness maps his prison menu. Poor boys there will get pork chops, also killies on Fridays when he's sheriff. Election a formality. Sage of Greenpoint discards rubber band reminder after visit to LaGuardia. City Hall shook off some of its summer calm yesterday when a booming voice and a heavy tread signaled the advent of Peter J. McGuinness, long known as the most ardent admirer of his native Greenpoint that the world has ever seen. Mr. McGuinness had a rubber band wound around his enormous fist to remind himself that he wanted to sell Mayor LaGuardia the idea of a new high school for Greenpoint. While he was waiting for the mayor, he introduced himself to one and all as Sheriff McGuinness. He was named for sheriff on the Democratic ticket a few days ago, and the election must be held in the fall. But that circumstance dismayed him not a bit. A formality, he said. In the mayor's office, the McGuinness had the experience of meeting someone he had never met before. Not Peter McGuinness of Greenpoint, asked the stranger, a writer named Kennedy. The same, boomed Mr. McGuinness, only we call it the Athens of the East River. Glad to meet ye anyhow. Carefully placing a cigarette in his well-stained holder, the Sage of Greenpoint discoursed a bit on the duties of his new office. When I'm sheriff, he said, the poor boys in the prisons are going to get real menus. That will be so that they can read the menus and find out what they want to eat. They may see steak for breakfast on there, but they'll wind up with bacon and eggs and like it. And on Friday, killies. Killies? Asked a listener. Sure, killies, said McGuinness. Didn't you ever catch killies when you were a kid? What kind of a feller are you? How about pork chops on the menu? Asked a person unkind enough to recall that McGuinness had once been called Pete the Pork Chop by an unscrupulous political adversary. Yep, we're going to have pork chops too, he said. In fact, there will be a pork chop on every deputy's shield. Struck by a sudden thought, the McGuinness reached around and fished his venerable wallet out of a side coat pocket. That wallet is in a class by itself. The once brown leather is black. It corresponds in size to a horse's feed bag, and it is always crammed to the brim with various contracts undertaken by its owner. I guess I got to take this to the cobbler and get it stitched up around the ends a little, Mr. McGuinness said. It's getting pretty old now. 16 years I've had it, ever since I came into the Board of Aldermen. At this point, the party's choice for sheriff was summoned into the mayor's office. Loud and hearty laughter followed in a minute. After a bit, Mr. McGuinness emerged beaming. That's all right about the school, he said, stripping the rubber band from his hand in one swift, decisive gesture. That McGuinness is quite a character, remarked the mayor.